welcome to a brand new episode of Gold Rush here on the JTR Podcast Network. This is Mark Reb coming to you from the newest position in Champaign, Illinois, joined as always by my buddy Jabari Sinclair. And it's kind of a curveball this week, Bari, because we're still planning on doing the Lucha Underground stuff. It's just about getting schedules organized to get AJ in here with us because I'm not qualified to talk about it.
and neither am I. So yeah, once life stops lifing for AJ, he'll jump on here and get that done. But until then, we'll do a little something.
Yeah, there's plenty of belts out there, and we're going to talk about a lot of them today because this is one that actually I think I suggested like a year ago that we should do, which is we're going to take a look at some of these custom championships that some of the wrestlers have come up with in the last 35 years or so. There's a couple that I didn't do because I couldn't decide if it counted. The Hogan belt with his face on it, I didn't add because we talked about that on the Hulk Hogan belts episode.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I didn't add the NWA women's title that Moolah had that had her face on it. Because I can't remember if that was her creation or if it was the company that the promotion made that. So those two won't be on there, but I don't know that we got all of them, but we got the biggies on this episode here. Some of them only lasted a couple months. One of them, our longest one, lasted for a little over 8 years, I want to say. Mm-hmm. So we're going to cover a little bit of everything on this, and we're just going to jump into it. It's not going to be the same formula. We're not going to talk about who designed it. We're not going to go through all the holders because most of them, those might be one or two guys, give or take. But we're going to start here, and I'm going to do it by adding as we go because there's a lot of pictures to get it. But we're going to start with, I think, the oldest one on here, which is the $1 million belt.
Yeah.
From 1989.
That beauty in itself.
Here it is. I always thought this was a cool belt. It was very cartoony. The fact that it was gold with the diamonds on it and everything, just dollar signs everywhere. I loved the vignettes leading up to this belt, Bari, when DiBiase was going in the jewelry store every week.
Yeah, no, they made it a big deal. Like he was going there every week, and then when they finally did the big reveal, it's like, yeah, this championship fits the $1 million man. Like,
yeah,
this is his gimmick.
Him with the cape.
Yeah.
Asked me when he walked in. There's this big Dracula cape on.
Okay. Theodore Von DiBiase.
Right. And then of course they unveiled it on the Brother Love show, and Brother Love, as we hoped, just made a meal out of it.
Sold the hell out of it. Yes, he did. Jesus.
To this day, I'm not sure. Is it magnets on the ends, like to put it around his waist? Because I never saw snaps or anything.
Yeah, there's no snap, so I believe it is a magnet, or maybe a clamp, like a necklace.
Yeah, I got you. Of course, the most notorious holder of this belt is, of course, the $1 Million Man, naturally. He debuted this in 89 after he couldn't win the World Championship or buy it from Andre. So he just said, hell with it, I'm making my own belt.
I'm going to make my own belt, exactly. The self-professed $1 million champion.
Bruce Pritchard did an episode on DiBiase like early on Something to Wrestle, and he went into a lot of detail on how they got this belt made, shooting the vignettes and all that stuff, which is really entertaining to hear talk about. Because I guess the guy who designed it thought that he meant just like a belt, like a regular belt to hold somebody's pants up. So it was really small, like when they made the prototype. So they had to bring in like a tag title belt and show him this is what size we need.
Exactly.
Because he was making like an Elvis belt, like what Elvis Presley wore around his jumpsuit.
Yeah.
So he debuts in 89. It is on. I never could find an exact date. It was in the summer. He held it until 90. Then Jake stole it. stuck it in the bag with Damien.
Yep.
Uh, DiBiase won it back, finger quotes, at WrestleMania 6. Drops it to Virgil at SummerSlam in 91. And that match was a fiasco. Sherry gets thrown out instead of getting DQ'd. Yeah, I could go on.
Okay, right. Hot Rod selling it like it was Ali and Frazier.
No, I love Hot Rod. I was not a fan of his commentary,
No,
especially
no.
babyface. If he was a heel, maybe it could have worked.
Right, but
like
babyface Roddy was all over the damn place.
Yeah. DiBiase retired the belt originally on February 7th, 92, after he and IRS won the tag titles. It got reactivated in 1996 for Steve Austin, in 2010 for Ted DiBiase Jr., and then they did the big angle on NXT with LA Knight and Cameron Grimes.
Yep. That's a pretty good little angle right there.
Yeah. And it
gave the belt some life again.
Yeah. I loved the reveal at the end when Grimes found out he had a replica and DiBiase had stolen the original and drove off with it. I'm not saying Ted's good at stealing things, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna besmirch Teddy too much because his work was so good with this belt.
Yeah. Hello, state of Mississippi.
Yeah. Next one on the list. I'm not going to go in chronological order because I forget things.
Right. No, this is just whatever.
Yeah.
This is our pit podge.
Yeah. It's a pish posh.
Yeah.
So let me get into the next one here, and
I always felt like anybody who was able to have a custom championship, that meant that the company was behind you in some way, and they believe in your character enough to give you a championship of your own and tell you, let's make something of this. So
yeah,
most of these cases are very interesting in their origins. So
yes. Let me see here. Of course, it's giving me issues, but not a big deal here. Where did it go? We're going to talk about the Smoking Skull belt, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I am not finding it on the thing here. Don't panic. Let's talk about it, though. I got the details. Debuted in July of 98. Right around the time of the feud with Taker.
Yeah.
And we saw somebody carrying one of these around, and at first we thought that he was kind of fudging the details, Bari.
Right.
Because
we
were. But it's kind of similar. It kind of had a vibe to the ECW championship with the plates, like the side plates and everything on it.
Yeah, it was it's a very unique design.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna do it.
For a rattlesnake.
Yes. Oh, no wonder it wasn't in JPEG format. That's why I couldn't do it. Hang on. Fixing as we go. Yeah, it was very Steve. It had the snakeskin backing on it that looked really cool. Then when he dropped it, I remember Vince McMahon running away with it pretty much.
Yeah.
And it was just ridiculous. And let's see here we go. All right, now we're
cooking. Mine, Austin.
Yeah. Put it in his office. We didn't see it again until I think it was the night after WrestleMania 15. Here we go. There's the belt there. And there
we go. Look at that beauty.
Yeah. Very, very Steve there. And there he is holding it. And yeah, after he feuded with The Rock, then they brought it back, but The Rock held it unofficially. He wasn't the champion at the time, but
right.
He was dragging out. They wound up doing the angle with Backlash with Shane, where Vince brought the belt back and hit Shane with it and gave it back to Austin. And then basically it would just come back anytime Austin had the belt up until SummerSlam 99. And then on the Raw after Mankind won the belt there, he brought back the Big Eagle, and they retired this one here. Which I'm surprised they haven't done something with that, recently. We saw Kevin Owens with the Winged Eagle, but that's something that he could have done with the Smoking Skull when they were doing the stuff with him in Austin.
Yeah. They sure could have.
Yeah.
Dropped the ball there.
Yes. So yeah, that one was around for a little over a year. The next one we're going to start talking spinners here, Bari. Which, you reacted accordingly. We'll start with the first one, which was John Cena's United States Championship, which, I didn't mind the WWE version. This U.S. belt is ass, if you ask me.
Yes, it is. It's complete garbage. I don't know who thought this was a good idea for anything, and there's people who actually mark out for this belt still to this day. And I'm like, look at that, absolute garbage. Look at that's garbage.
It looks like a toy.
A toy. Exactly. It looks like one of those damn things you put on your wrist and you spin it around.
Yeah, it's basically if a fidget spinner was a belt.
Yeah, a Beyblade.
Yeah. Cena debuted this one on Armageddon 2004. And of course, it's not letting me do that. Here we go. Open here. Sometimes StreamYard is kind of a punk about the belts here. So there he is there with the belt back when he still did the padlock and the chain. And we're wrestling Jesus, Aaron Aguilera in the first match.
God. It should have been the last match too.
Yeah. But I mean, you know why they do this. They're always trying to sell belts, trying to sell merchandise, make the money.
Exactly.
But yeah, I still remember when they destroyed this belt, when Bradshaw and Orlando blew it up in the trash can.
I cheered.
I think everybody did. But of course, that was the build-up to WrestleMania 21. Cena beat Bradshaw to win the WWE Championship. By the way, one of my favorites, the Undisputed belt that we talked about on the show before.
Yeah.
Nope, not that one. Oh, there it is. That one up there in the corner. And what do you do on the SmackDown after WrestleMania if you're a fool? You say, I don't want this cool-looking belt. I'm bringing in this one, which, to be fair, is better than the U.S. belt.
It is. But, there again, here we go. It looks like a freaking toy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even say champion, champ.
It's champ, yeah. I was not a fan. Of course,
it's big, it's bulky, it weighs about 25 pounds, and it's just godly.
Would you call it gaudy? Is that your word for it?
Yes.
Of course, we did the angle for Bradshaw's rematch when they would have both belts out there because Bradshaw didn't want the bling bling sideshow, as he called it. Can't say as I blame him.
Yeah.
But this belt wound up going until 2013. So this is, I think, the longest running of the custom belts.
Yeah.
And The Rock retired it after Elimination Chamber 2013 on February 18th. It brought the one that is kind of the template for all the titles that we see now, the women's titles and the men's titles and all that stuff. But during Cena's run, of course, he did have the run with Edge, and Edge was supposed to have a different belt when he got it, when he got the title, but the creative didn't jive with it, so they wound up making him a new spinner, the Rated R belt, which again I didn't care for. I want to see what Edge had designed for his own belt, but they didn't go with it.
Again, right? It's just it looks like a toy.
Mm-hmm. And this one was maybe a month. It went from after SummerSlam till Armageddon or Unforgiven, 2006. Hell of a match for this belt, that TLC match.
Yeah, it was.
But look at Edge. He doesn't. He's selling, but I can see in his eyes. I don't think he liked this belt.
No, not at all.
He's like, don't make me hold this damn thing. But yeah, thankfully this one was short lived. But then we still had another 7 years of the original spinner there. So it is what it is, I suppose, Bari.
Right.
Next up, we are going to talk. We're going to go away from WWE for this one, Bari. We're going to go ECW. And we're going to talk a little FTW championship. And let me get these here. Yeah, some of these photos, when I download them, they're not in JPEG format, so they don't work. So first I'm going to throw up this picture with Taz, because here he is with the original belt, which was an old TV title that they spray painted orange and put FTW stickers on.
Yep.
Which,
it worked for the time.
Points for ingenuity. It's ECW. That's kind of guerrilla technique,
Yeah.
I actually preferred this one to the one that we would see like on AEW later, or that Sabu had.
Same, yeah.
I think it's the orange strap that did it for me, because that was more like on brand with Taz with the orange.
Exactly.
This, of course, was because Shane Douglas was hurt and couldn't defend the ECW World Championship. But Taz said, hell with it, I'm making my own. And he defended it against Bam Bam on the Heatwave 98 pay-per-view, one of probably my favorite ECW pay-per-view. And here's a better look at the original belt here. I think it's a replica, but you get the point. It's the orange strap and everything. But
exactly.
Yeah. Eventually, they would switch to this design here. This is the one that everybody recognizes from AEW.
AEW,
and,
yeah.
This is the one that Taz dropped to Sabu in the build-up to Guilty as Charged.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Living Dangerously 99, it got retired because it got unified with the ECW Championship. And then it went dormant for, 20 years? 21 years until AEW, when Mox got COVID and couldn't defend it. Huh?
Uh-huh. I said that it lived.
It lived. Moxley couldn't defend the world title because he had COVID, so Taz brought out the FTW belt, gave it to Brian Cage, of all people. And then started that run with Hook and Jericho and Ricky Starks. I think all had that belt. And then Hook retired it last year in September after Grand Slam. Gave it back to Taz. Taz has it in his trophy case at home, where it should have been all along. I didn't like that they brought it back.
No, me either.
I mean, I love the belt, but it just seemed like it was just. I'm trying to. What's the right word I'm looking for, Bari? You know me.
Watered down.
I think Tony just wanted another belt for having a belt.
Exactly, and you got a fucking room full, so go pick one of those instead of desecrating the legendary championship.
Right, especially when Jericho won it and put the learning tree business all over it. I'm not an expert on body language. I don't know Taz well, but it sounded like he was not happy that Jericho'd up that belt.
Exactly. No, he wasn't. That's why he took it the fuck home.
Yeah. He's like, fuck you guys. I'm taking my belt back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Bari, let's shift gears here. Let's talk a little TNA.
All right.
Because Booker T in 2008, when he was a proud member of the Main Event Mafia, brought out his own belt he called the Legends Championship. And I really like this belt, Bari.
I did too. And then the whole build up to it as well was very interesting. So yes, I enjoyed this.
It was originally unrecognized. That's why it made it onto this list. Uh-huh. And he dropped it to AJ, and then they made it an official championship. It got rebranded a couple times. Eric Young made it the Global Championship when he was a heel. And then eventually they just made it the TV Championship. And then I think it was the King of the Mountain Championship at the very end, wasn't it? When Jarrett came back?
Yeah, all the meanwhile, it still said Legends Championship.
Yeah, I don't know that they ever changed the plate on that, but
Nope.
there's the man there. There's Booker with the belt.
Yeah, I believe it was the same belt all the way through.
But yeah, the Legends belt, it was, I think, 3, maybe 4 people held it. Booker to AJ Nash that I know of for sure. And then, like I said, it kind of got hot potatoed once it got officially recognized by TNA and passed around. But yeah, that one lasted until it got rebranded on October 29th, 09. Eric Young made it the Global Championship then. I had to do a lot of homework on this episode because I have so many belts to talk about. Let's stick with TNA so we can get this one out of the way. And I think you know where I'm going here, Bari.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. We're going to talk about the notorious Jeff Hardy belt. They called it the Immortal Championship because he was in that group Immortal with Hogan. It's not a good looking belt, Bari. I'm sorry. You know, we love belts, but come on, people. Really?
Yeah. If somebody said, "Hey, do you want this or do you want to kick in the nuts?" I think I'll take the kick in the nuts.
See, just for that, I want to get you one for Christmas. This one got passed around a little bit. It debuted on November 8th, 2010, about a month after Immortal started with Hogan, when everybody turned heel all on one pay-per-view. And yeah, it was mostly Hardy. Ken Anderson had it for a cup of coffee. And then it got retired on March 14th, 2011. It was the Impact after the infamous Victory Road incident when Jeff couldn't go, so they just had Sting squash him, take the belt off of him. Then they debuted a new belt. Couldn't happen sooner as far as the belt goes. I'm glad Hardy went and got help and all that stuff. He seemed like he's kicked out and he's doing fine now. But yeah, that belt could not go away fast enough. It looked like the Divas Championship.
Exactly. That god-awful thing as well.
That's another one I almost threw on here was the Lay Cool cut in half women's championship, but I decided not to.
Yeah, now that was neat, and it was with the original women's championship, so
yeah,
that was okay.
But again, they were the only ones that held it, and it wasn't there for very long. Okay, I just threw this one up here just to be silly, Bari, but still TNA. We're going to. I hope you remember this, but let me throw these up here. James Storm had a custom championship in 2000.
The beer championship. Yes.
Look at that.
Yes.
It's a toy. It's the kiddies version of the spinner belt. He just threw a beer bottle on it.
Yeah. A couple of beer tops. Yeah, call it a day. This is the championship. This is the championship I was going to make for Dalton Davis.
Oh, there you go. Just get a Bud Light bottle and put it on a spinner belt.
Yeah.
I bet he'd wear it. I bet he'd pop for it.
Yeah.
And I was a fan of James Storm.
Damn luck. Yeah,
James Storm was so good. Look at that.
Yeah.
The beer drinking contest with Eric Young.
Yeah.
I don't know what I like better, this belt or when James would ride to the ring on the cooler.
Yes, the beer cooler.
That's just good stuff.
Yeah.
Where's that? Make sure I clear these out so I don't forget which ones. I think that's the last TNA belt that we have on here.
I need that beer cooler for when we go to Edgewood Fest.
Oh, there you go. Or just ride it around the expo.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be, I'm budgeting to get a belt at the expo.
Me too. I've already taken care of all my hotel expenses and shows and photo obligations. So all this money that's coming with me is for bullshit.
As is our right at the Squared Circle Expo. It's
exactly.
so much fun.
Yeah, it is. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to pivot and we're going to go Ring of Honor here, Bari. Uh,
Okay.
so Jay
Now the
Briscoe. What?
now these Ring of Honor championships minus the Jay Briscoe, I'm not very familiar with. So, but yeah, I took a look at them. I was like, oh, I didn't know about that one.
All right. Well, we're starting with Jay Briscoe because
Yeah.
Jay never actually lost the title the first time he had it because he got hurt. And
Mhm.
then when Adam Cole won it and he was healing on everybody, when Briscoe came back, he declared himself the uncrowned, unrecognized Ring of Honor champion. And this is the belt that he had. Now, I liked the camo strap.
Yes.
I thought it was a cool looking belt.
It's a very different looking belt. Yeah, I liked it. I like that. I like the championship.
Yeah, a little problematic with some of the imagery on there for some people.
Well,
I mean, it's his gimmick though.
whatever.
He was the
Yeah.
redneck. You know, this is before
Yeah.
it was like horrible to have anything involving the rebel flag on there. Tracy Smothers can still get away with this at this point in time.
Exactly. Exactly.
This was basically in 2014 when he had this belt. Uh, he wound up dropping it to Cole, and then they had a ladder match. And I think Cole got both belts. He gave it to Matt Hardy, who renamed it the Iconic Championship because he was the icon, finger quotes. And then it wound up going to Mike Bennett and Maria, who put like pink fur all over it and called it the title of love, which I hated. It was so cheesy. But this is how I remember it.
Exactly, and that's how it should be remembered.
Yes. Jay Briscoe, my favorite wrestler in the last 20 years.
That's legit. That's legit.
Yeah, that first shoot. But yeah, so he had that. It was only there for a few months, not a whole long time, but it is definitely still remembered. And whoever made that camo strap should get a bonus because it looked really cool.
Yeah, it does. Wouldn't mind seeing another championship with a camo strap, to be completely honest.
I think Mark Briscoe did that with the Ring of Honor belt, didn't he? He put a white and black and gray camo on it.
He changed the color, but I'm not sure. I think it was white and gray camo.
Okay. Yeah. But the green and orange brown like army camo looked cool.
Right.
Speaking of the Ring of Honor World Championship, we're going to pivot here and we're going to go to where'd it go? There it is. Matt Taven, when he was doing the Kingdom gimmick, like the new Kingdom, not the original Kingdom with Mike Bennett and Adam Cole, but when he came back with Vinny Marcellia and TK Orion as the trio, he started laying claim to the World Championship that Jay Lethal had and wasn't getting a shot at. So he got a little spicy because he wanted his shot. And when he didn't get it, he decided, hell with this, I'm making my own belt. And it's an exact replica of the Ring of Honor World title they had at the time. But he made it purple.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's had the purple strap. Kingdom's color was purple. I think Menders would pop for this belt.
She would. So hard too.
Yeah, this was sharp, and I kind of wish they would have let him keep it, like to defend this one, but it actually got destroyed by. I'm trying to remember the name of the group. It was Juice Robinson's group when he was a babyface. Him and Finley and Hot Sauce. Like when they were feuding the Kingdom, they destroyed this belt before Taven's title shot at the Garden when he won the world title. But he never got to actually defend this purple belt. It was always the original belt that he wound up defending. But I thought this looked really cool, and it fit him really well. Debuted on September 29th, 2018, and it was sometime before April 2019 that it wound up going away. And take that down. Yeah, I don't know how much Ring of Honor you knew at that point, Bari.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. We're going to talk about another unrecognized title, but we're going to pop AJ with this one. And you know why? Because we have to talk about the Internet Championship.
Yes, we do.
Now
It
this one
was
has two.
inevitable.
It was inevitable. It has two designs because here's the original in Cardona when he had the spiky hair, and then go back to this. Turn that. There we go. And here's the actual a good close up of the belt. There it is. That's a way better picture. And
Not a bad looking belt.
no, it's not. This is a professionally done belt, which I say Mazel Tov.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he sold replicas for about. This was during the Z True Long Island Story stuff when he was getting himself over on YouTube.
On YouTube, exactly.
So this one was the original belt for a while. Then eventually it changed, and you see it's a different skull on there, different font. It's a little simpler, and this is the one that he carries around now as the internet champion. But I preferred the original better. I like this one better.
Me too.
Debuted in 2011, and like I said, still use it today. It's part of his gimmick as the indie god and AJ Mifflin's favorite wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Absolute favorite.
All right. Now let me look. I think we have. Do we have enough? Oh, we have two more here, both WWE. We're going to start with the simple one because it was only used basically for one day. And that is this one, which is the Greatest Royal Rumble title belt that they put on Braun Strowman when he won the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia the first time they went over there.
Yeah.
I don't hate the belt, to be honest with you.
Me either.
I just thought it was odd that they put a championship belt in the Rumble, I think. And I don't know, did they sell this like on the shop, Bari?
I think they sold a limited number. Maybe they probably made 500 of them.
Yeah. Well, there's Braun, and you could tell it's a different shade of green on the actual belt than the replica that I had here. It's a little bit of a darker green. I preferred the lighter green on that, but and it just took me looking at this picture just now to realize that Braun's wearing a green singlet.
Yeah, he is.
Huh, how we doing? Pandering much, Braun?
No, exactly.
But it is what it is. Yeah, like I said, he only held that belt when they gave it to him when he won the Rumble. Never saw it again on television, which is all right. I mean, there's a few too many belts these days.
Yeah.
I know, shocking take, but then we have one more here, Bari, and then this is going to be a fairly quick episode. We're going to come in right around 40 minutes, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about Daniel Bryan, not Bryan Danielson.
Oh yeah,
you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I almost forgot about the Honey Nut Cheerios championship.
Honestly, so did I. But there it is. Look at that.
Oh boy.
Call me a stickler, Bari. I like my belts to be leather with gold or silver.
Yeah, hemp, wood, and real gems really doesn't say championship.
No, I mean, I'll give him credit for creativity for this.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely went with his gimmick, being the environmental savior, whatever he called himself, the planet's champion. Is that it?
Yeah.
But yeah, the strap is hemp. The wood is from a naturally felled like tree. I forget what kind of tree it was.
I think it was an oak tree.
Yeah, and yeah, the side plates are made out of wood. So yeah, it was completely sustainable. Velcro on the strap, which I think was done before it was a regular thing on the belts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, good old Bryan Danielson with his buddy Rowan pre-Spider.
Mm-hmm.
and this one didn't last. This barely lasted probably 5 months, maybe 6 months. Because I think it was after Survivor Series when he debuted it, and then he lost it at WrestleMania to Kofi, and Kofi brought back the original version of this belt.
So yeah, about 5 months.
Yeah, about the same amount of time as Taven's belt, to be honest with you, from 2018 to 2019. So fun little. And I know we didn't get to all the belts that are out there, but these are the ones that have stuck out in our minds, Bari, for.
Exactly. Oh, either better or worse.
Yeah.
Usually worse.
Notice they never really had any custom belts. I'll take that back. In WCW, Hall and Nash debuted those tag team titles, but I didn't put that on here because they wound up using those.
Yeah, they did.
That was just an updated version of the tag titles that they wound up going with.
Yeah.
I still liked the ones from before that better. The
classic tag team.
There we go. That one up there.
Yeah.
I had this
Oval World. Yes.
I think they're trying to make overtures to procure that one from me, Bari.
Yeah. We'll talk turkey.
We'll dialogue. We'll figure something out there.
Yeah.
All right. So we went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. There's one I forgot, and I'm not going to throw a picture up. We didn't talk about the People's Championship, Bari.
Yeah, we didn't. Or the Brahma Bull Championship.
Well, that one never made it to TV, so I didn't include it.
This is true.
But no, the People's Championship that was bequeathed to Dwayne Johnson by the family of Muhammad Ali. Yeah. That he started carrying around like it was a championship.
Because Dwayne just had to have a fucking belt too.
Yeah, you know what? I am going to throw a picture up because you know what? Honestly, it is a nice belt.
Mm-hmm.
It's a well-made belt. We'll give it its due. Throw that up here. Okay, that's a classy looking belt.
It is.
Now, did The Rock have it made and arranged for Mrs. Ali to give it to him on?
I'm almost certain.
Did TKO have it made? It could be anything. You never know.
Yeah.
It's definitely kind of. I think that's an example of The Rock missing the glory of being a champ and having something to wave around and to not wear around his waist.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Drag it.
Never he dragged it. Always made me so mad when he would drag that belt on the floor. I was like, come on, where's the respect? Rocky Johnson wore the belt.
Yeah, he did.
High Chief Peter Maivia would have worn the belt.
Yes, he would have.
Yoko would have if it would have fit him.
Yeah.
Yoko put it over the shoulder.
Yeah.
But so that is this one. Now we got to double check, make sure I didn't forget something. I don't think I did. Briscoe, Taven, Internet Legend. Nope, that's all of them. So we have covered everything there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was a fun one. It was just kind of like a bonus, kind of a compilation, kind of how we did our Hogan episode.
Yeah, keep us in circulation. Keep the blood going.
We got to keep the chops up, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
But Bari, since I picked this episode, I'm going to let you pick the next one while we're waiting on our Lucha Underground series to pick up. So I'm going to let you pick the next episode.
Let me think. How about we will do... Have we done the 10 pounds of gold yet?
We have not done the 10 pounds of gold. We did the big gold.
Let's do the 10 pounds of gold.
I like that idea. I am all for that because it's kind of ridiculous we haven't done it yet.
Exactly. I know. So
we were saving it for a big episode.
Maybe so. And by which, if I see that belt at the expo, I'll grab that.
I was going to say, if that belt's at the expo, one of us is getting it.
Yeah.
One of definitely iconic and one of the very coolest belts. As much as I love the big gold, this one is the one I most liken to the NWA.
Yes.
The big gold's more of a WCW belt in my book.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about the red strap, the Jack Briscoe version from the 70s. We're going to talk about the this version from the NWA in the 80s up through 86. Then we're going to talk about TNA when they had the NWA World Championship.
Yeah.
And we might mention Shane Douglas, the guy who you did not say is the greatest CCW World Heavyweight Champion of all time.
I heard that story told last night on the podcast.
Don't blame me. That was Menders.
I knew it was Menders.
That's all right. I gave her shit for Dan Malenko again. So
exactly, Dan
yeah,
Malenko.
Dan Malenko. All right, so we're gonna do our homework on this one, Bari, because there's a lot to digest. Because
there is.
What was it? I'm not even sure what year that date. It was like 72. I want to say 73.
Yeah,
I think it
71
was
or 72. Yeah,
I think it was after Dory
70s.
Funk. Dory Funk never had it, so I think it was either Harley or Jack Briscoe was the one that debuted it. So I will have to do some homework.
Yeah, no, we'll just say 70s.
70s, yeah, that'll work. All right. Well, Bari, we're getting done 20 minutes ahead of SmackDown, and they're back in America, so they're going to be in Chicago. Build up to WrestleMania. Very exciting.
Yeah,
so what do you say we get out of here and we got a wrestling show to go to tomorrow. We're going to see Rhino.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So that's going to be a good time. Going to Snappers, which I'm excited about. Fat guy,
Exactly. Me too. Good food.
And then who knows, Bari? Maybe we'll do like a live remote from the expo if we see the belts that we're looking at. So we'll see.
Okay. Definitely, yeah.
I got a couple ideas for at the expo, depending on who's there. But we'll talk about that off the air.
All right, sounds good.
All right, well, let's get out of here then. Until next time, thanks everybody for joining us here on Gold Rush for the great Ubangi, Hoot Supreme, Bari Sinclair. This is Mark Rebin. Run y'all, life is hard, good work stiff. We'll see you guys next time.